Hello, 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 welcome to, let's hope another good stream, good progress. And let's see where we go from here today. Let me actually quickly get, yeah, that's the second monitor, perfect. All right, so what did I do? Yesterday I coded a little bit off stream, tried around a little bit with the parallax mapping, got it somewhat to work, but then I decided let's try something else, which is more on like the volumetric terrain level with like height displacement on the mesh or on the sampling. And actually, I think that turns out nice because it's actually displacing the actual geometry. And what that has a benefit of is looking straight down looks a little bit better, especially in cases like this where you would be against the wall. So I think we will go with that. And performance-wise, yeah, it's worse probably, but I'm only doing it close to the player in like 500 meters range currently. That could be tuned. We could do it less, we could do it more. It really depends. And currently we've offset by 5 centimeters, 5 word units. But overall, I think it's quite nice how it turns out. The only thing I need to do and change is this. We need to, instead of that, have this. And then that would be position. That would be 100.0. This is sample.xyz. We don't really care, or I guess. Yeah, I don't really, well, I guess I need to have those out here. Because I think we need oh no, actually I don't. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's better. Hopefully that should give us one additional thing. Which is detailed on the sphere, which should be now correctly. Hopefully, well, I guess I did a mistake. $206. Is that a big definition or what? Yeah, hello? What? Oh, wait, I think. I think that should work, right? Okay, maybe not. We still have a guy in a couple of validation errors. We need to figure out simplex error, unexpected sample. Isn't that how it works? GSR texture load. I did a float. No, why is that a problem? Two or five? So that works, but the other one doesn't. No. No. Okay. Unexpected simper. Oh, simper value. And that's it. Oops, wrong screen. Alright, so that should hopefully work. Yes. That all works nicely. And then here, I think it should now be offset in the depth. Yeah. Beautiful. Exactly, and that would never happen with the parallax mapping. With the parallax mapping, you would not have like those small details looking up here, which is kind of nice to have, I think. They're purely visual. The physics were not represent them. Still need to look out where that's the jitter, I think, right? I think we don't have that here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's my screen. I was like, okay. Yeah, that's pretty nice, and I think performance-wise it's not too bad either. Let me quickly check. Again, I don't recommend using RenderDoc for performance measures, but it's currently the best I have on Linux. I still need to look at Tracy again. Let's do a sample like that, and let's do a sample like that, and then let's go close to the sphere. Looking up like that, and do a sample like that, and that should, hello, that should give us a good amount of samples. So the first one, that's not really perfect, but I think that's mostly the rays that are never hitting. So I think we pay a lot for the rays at the distance here. Again, probably a lot for rays in the distance. Because let's actually try that. What do we pay if it's purely the terrain very close? So basically if I do something like that, that's pretty good. Yeah, then it's probably the raycast that's super slow. That's fine. That's like basically telling me that we pay the most for like grazing angers, which I already knew that they are kind of bad. Yeah, that's decent. Could probably still be improved quite a lot. But yeah, we're paying for the race here in the back a lot. Because we're doing 512 samples. And yeah, they are just costly. Because we have no acceleration structure currently, which we will do in the future. Probably not for 06, probably afterwards. But that's fine. Alright, so need to clean up the shader a little bit, but overall, that's pretty good. So we can kill the parallax mapping, I think. It doesn't really add a whole lot in that sense anymore. So that's that. I think I would want cheaper triplanar version. We just get the Vec 2 out. We get rid of that. Like that. And then don't... Well, I need that, but I don't need those. And then yeah, here. Like that, and then here, that. And that's that, and then we as well... Oh, that's fine, I think. Well, here we do texture grab. Hope that doesn't break anything. Blend created EUV. Like that. Yeah, that's mostly it. I don't know why we did that. We can kill the parallax mapping here. We don't need that for now. We might add it later for some other stuff, but for now, we definitely don't need it. That's replanar stuff, that's ray stuff. Okay, yeah, we need lighting probably. We might add lighting today again back to the terrain. Because I think that would push it even further in like visual quality. Go with like that. That's better, I think. We should get that from outside this, like the texture scale basically. Okay, we're changed a little bit too much, I guess. 213. Oh, upload run. Then I hope .com. Oh yeah, we have a upload version of that. I guess we should. No, that's fine. Perfect. Now we are close to the terrain here. That looks fine, yeah. Perfect. There's no artifacts or anything here. That's the most important thing, that I don't artifacts appear here. Nice. Okay. That is a bit of a problem. I think I can't go below. Can't push the terrain below the surface, right? That's what happens here, I think. So basically the height map pushes it below. I assume. But why was that not before a problem, or was I blind before? I mean, maybe I was blind. Might be that I was, yeah. I guess that means this height has to be something like 5 max height, so basically 5.0f minus that. Is that it? Well, our height scale minus that, then plus here. Is that it? Would that solve the issue of going below? Not quite sure. I think it might. Well, okay, no. Yeah, then I need to think about that a little bit more, but it's fine. It probably only is an issue with those hard transitions. But yeah, I think we would want it only to happen basically up, never down. But I need to evaluate that later. It's fine for now. That small inconsistency is fine. What I would want to try, yeah, before we do more elaborate example, I think I would want to put back the generation of terrain shader. Or do we do the light first? I mean, I think the light first would make more sense. No, it actually doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. So I guess we could do the generator first. I think it should be fairly simple. Volume, rain. I'm not sure where it is actually, or what it's called anymore. Volume, public, Onyx, add. And then there is templates. Oh yeah, that one. I guess we would do a new one just in case. Now we will delete the old ones probably. And that's just a pure copy, right? And we have here, yeah, we have this one in there. So basically I go to my shader, do this, that, copy that, because that is a full fragment and it's a compute shader, okay. No, but I think, yeah, I think I would want to have both here. So that would be this. Probably like that. And then where do we use that? I mean, I think we probably need this one, but I'm not sure. Oh, render terrain shader file name. Yeah, okay. That might actually work. I don't know. Let's see. Oh wait, there's more. This one. I think I can leave that out for now. Oh, okay. Sorry, I have to look something at Twitch did a weird notification. All good. Yeah, here we do that. So if we have an asset ID, we do that. Get rid of the line shader. We need all of those settings. Okay. Let's get rid of that. That's fine for now. That's fine. Let's keep that as is. It doesn't really matter. And then if we don't have a render terrain shader, well, actually that's fine, right? We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And then we're just interested in that. Yeah. Probably. Probably something along those lines. Let's see if that builds, and then let's see if we can build a shader. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Volume shader graph editor. Did I guess I broke some volume out. Huh. I think that my graph again is probably empty. Volume shader graph edit. No. I was in the mode to do resharper hotkeys. That doesn't really work. Embra. I think it has to be like that. That the question is, can that be automatic? But it's another topic. Probably can be. Question number, but yeah. Sorry, I need to answer that. I did it again. Not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Where's my volume stuff? Here. I need to look why those are not working. Okay, and then let's do a volume. Do I not have a more? Okay, first thing first. Why is my... Hey Riverman, hello. Why are my localizations not working? Well, I can show you in a sec what we did, but no, not really. Localization. Yeah, okay. And then... Oh, those are wrong. I think that's probably lowercase. That's probably lowercase. And this is shader graph nodes, I think. So how did that substitute work? Forgot it again. Didn't do it in a long time. Oh, this one, yeah. With graphics, the graph nodes, like that. And we are looking for dot graphics. Wait, what? Oh no. Quite unfortunate. That is, PO files are what I think Linux get text uses. Let me close that note or yes. Get text. GNU. It's a localization format. And I chose that one because it's pretty straightforward to implement myself. And it's fairly standard, maybe not in games, but it's fairly standard, it seems like, for applications. And there are editors for that file format, so that's why I chose it. I actually should move those localization files probably into an English subfolder. But I could add other languages nicer instead of having it at the root. But unfortunate that I didn't replace that correctly. Although, can I not maybe replace with nothing? Does that work? Let's try. Why did I not do that before? I think I like extra work. So what did I do? I think since last time you were here, I don't know if you saw the physics, but yeah, I have physics stored as well for the terrain. But what I did now, couple over last days, is adding displacement mapping to the terrain. So you can see that it's like elevated here, and you can best see here if we look up the sphere, then you can see that there is like bumps here and there. So we have like displacement maps on the terrain textures. So that's like some micro detail basically along the surface. We still need the lighting, of course, on the terrain. Okay, that's that. And volume shader graph. Do I now have finally translations? Hello? Why can I not create a new node? I always instinctively press the scene editor. Onyx graphics shader graph nodes, and it doesn't work. But some of them actually work, never mind. Shader graph nodes. Oh no. How did I make that? Okay, so I want to replace dot shader graph dot nodes with dot shader graph nodes. Thank you. So now it should work. Yes, beautiful. God damn it. Alright, so I want to add a volume out node here. And I don't have. Why do we have two things here? And where is my. Do I not have a. Do I really not have a sphere source? Is it shader graph? No. Primitives? SDF sphere. Why would that not work? What the operation does? Entry point. Yeah, it doesn't find it. Okay. Is it not here, maybe? No, it is. Big shade graph node. Oh, is it maybe that? It's already done. That's interesting. I think now we will have it. But then why is it really done? That's interesting. That's a bug for the code generator. The default muscle memory. Okay, maybe not. I mean, I guess what I can do for now. Must register it myself. SDF sphere. I want to include it first. Primitives SDF sphere. Volume shader graph node. Fascinating that it every time. Volume out. Perfect, that's what I wanted. Then we go here. And then radius we do 500. And then we save that. Or test volume. Sadness. Did it not save it, or did it just... Okay. Did it not save it, or is it just... No, it's here. Okay. Well, is it here? Oh, that's probably an issue. Test volume dot... I don't know what the end should be. Volume shader graph serializer. Oh, volume graph. Why did it not save it with the correct? File ending. So that might be the issue why it didn't work. But let's first open it again. Does it load correctly? Okay, so that works. That's a good sign. Does it have the 500? Yes, it does. So that's our pretty good sign that it might work. Yeah, okay. That's fair. Might be that we have issue with pipeline creation or whatever. Let's see what the issue is when we do it fresh. Is there a shader compilation error? There is. Word position undeclared identifier. Test volume.h. Why is it voxel position and then here it's called word position? Cool. Okay. That works. Great. Volume shader graph serializer. Why would you fail to do the correct thing? Oops. Generate actually let's leave it at that, yeah. Let's call it voxel position sphere. And then this just has to adjust, right? But actually that should be... I know that should probably be voxel position, that's fine. Let's call it word position, that's better, maybe. I actually like that more. Actually, let's leave it as word position and then SDF noise. Is that correct? Does that have voxel position? Yeah, okay. Okay, but then I think what we can do simplex noise 3D and a noise gradient, and I'm not sure. Oh, that's the voxel position, right? I think it has to be like that. Now we save that. Test volume noise. Now we go to our scene editor. Now we kill our performance score. Oh no, actually, we have a breakpoint. Voxel position. Maybe actually work voxel position was the better name, I don't know, man. I have to change the shader. Let's call it voxel position again, I don't care. Yeah. Yes, or do you know I have no matching overloaded function. And this is as well garbage. What should that be? Shouldn't that probably be the noise here? most likely. And the other is 3D, I guess. Okay. Our performance is like shit. Probably because we have a little bit too much. Is it like that? To do it correctly? Oh, really? Okay, what are my options here? PLRD noise. Let's try something like that. Well, that's very weirdly detailed. Let's try something like that. I think we need to scale it. If I would have to guess in like both directions. That somehow doesn't do anything, which is fascinating. Two. And then let's see if PSRD noise to gets a vec2. And it is pretty much the same. SCF volume noise. Where is the noise system? Doesn't even exist. Fascinating. How did that even work? What? I'm so confused. Where does it generate the actual thing? I am so confused. I assume it's this, and I assume it's this. Now we get a float out. Probably get a float out here. Probably that is X. That is 1.0 F. Probably something like that. Although I'm not sure. To be honest. Let's see what that does. It's weird. Because it doesn't scale very well. Oh, it doesn't compile, never mind. Oh. Did it compile now? Looks like it. But for some reason, it doesn't really work. Hmm. thought it would be like that, but scale it like that, even though I don't think that's the case. We shouldn't do it in that direction, pretty sure, but fine. Why is it like so? I'm pretty sure it should be something like that. But somehow it fails to scale at all. I don't know how that function used to work. It's like, I think I got it to work with the volume extraction once, but now it just fails. It just becomes noise because it doesn't. And I don't think I have the thing lying around somewhere. Yeah, it should be something like that, but I'm not sure again why it doesn't work. I mean, if I do that, it should be a flat plane again, right? Pretty much. At least that's my understanding. But even that fails. Doesn't do anything. Oh, it always is a flat. Oh, wait, it's always a flat plane, right? Let's kill the height scale for now. Render terrain. Or actually, volume. Template. Where is the get height scale? Yeah. So that should kill it, and then oh wait, not terrain. Need to do it here as well. I think at least. Or is it maybe that it doesn't reload the shader? Could it be that? No, but But it did reload it, right? Because it failed. Okay, well, it clearly does some crap. Okay, I mean, there's some weirdness going on with the normals for sure. Then volume. So something like that. Is it a Vec 3 or Vec 2? Not Vec 2 gradient. I don't know, I think it's fine like that. But who knows? So maybe it didn't save it. Could that be it? Even though it should reload. It clearly doesn't work very well. And the terrain. It's actually, for now, let's bring that over. For faster editing. Okay. Let's see. Why did I change it there? Wait. Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, okay, I mean, I think that should be all fine. Oh, okay, that looks a little bit better. I mean, the numbers are weird, but how is the number that need to change it? Could it be that it's X and then might be that we need to flip it or something like that? Sad, but maybe we need to flip one, I don't know. And it might be that this is sad and this is Y or something like that. I mean, kinda, maybe? Not really, never mind. But yeah, I could imagine that it's something like that. That we need that the noise returns something that's not correct. Could as well be that it's flipped like that, that this is sad and this is X, I don't know. Would need to test that out. I mean, that looks definitely slightly, well, not really, but slightly better, I don't know. Okay, yeah. But I mean, that's hills, somewhat. And then if we would apply now the... I mean, here the texture looks fine. That is in the set direction. So one of the numbers is correct. Now, I guess I would need to find out myself what's going on there by render docking into it. But yeah, something is off with that normal for sure. That's a try and an error, but yeah, it's probably better to just render dog. But what? How does the performance is fine, right? I mean, it's not too bad. It's actually kind of nice. Random. Beautiful. With that, let's do a sample here. Oh, well, I can't do a sample. Render doc. Actually get the normal here. Because I'm curious what that is. Nice. Okay, so that is definitely wrong. Is it that it's... Why is it all negative? That's the biggest question I would have. Would I need to flip it by like 1? Like or minus? Because I don't think it should be like that. Let's try. What's the performance? It's somewhat expensive. It's questionable. Isn't the screen just sky? No. Unfortunate. That might be then already a killer thing, but let's see. This is X coordinate. mean, that's probably wrong as well, isn't it? Well, actually, not quite. I mean, yes, wrong. Maybe not too wrong. I don't know. But the thing is, why is it so expensive? Would be the biggest thing that I would have in question here. So is that like super expensive? No, okay, that's fine. And I guess it's just expensive if I'm here or what? No, right? Okay, no, I think it was just again the ray hitting, like missing here. This is a bit more expensive, wondering why. But it's fine, I think. I think with an optimization on the how many rays we have to shoot per pixel, it should be better. Alright, but in theory that works. I would need to figure out the normal, why it's broken. Guess what we can try. Exit this, change that to 1.0 and that back to this should be fine. Okay, yeah, that's a 2D noise, but looks a little bit weird. I think it's wrong still. Not quite sure why. It's either that or I need to figure out. Pretty sure I did that in the past, but and it worked, but whatever. I mean, it's not perfect by any means. It's okay-ish. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, that's sky. But that's decent. And then I think if we turn on the height scale again, should look way better. And then the question is, where does my normal go wrong? Not sure. Actually, we could probably test that by doing something like that. That should give us a plane again. Or maybe it's... Maybe I need to scale the... Maybe I need to scale the out thing as well, based on that. Or this one. Then this should be fine. Okay, so this is fine, right? And the question is that just a matter of this? So that if I scale this by 100, I have to scale this by 100? Is that it? Or maybe I need to scale like both of it. This is 100 by default. No, okay. I need to look up how I would do that. I mean, it actually looks somewhat fine, I guess. Well, not really, but yeah, here it looks fine. On the y-axis, it now looks fine. Maybe it's a matter of... But I think that is basically the same thing. Oh, actually that looks somewhat better. Not sure if it's correct, but that looks pretty decent. Nice. Okay. I would need to look at the math if that actually makes sense. But yeah, that looks good. And so that, let's scale it a little bit less, even more. I want higher hills, but less often. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I mean, this is the gap between the things, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, that looks pretty good. I think we can do even less frequency, even more amplitude. And I think there is another thing where we can make it even like go up faster. I don't know how to say that. But yeah, that would be the macro I mean, it's really hard to see without the base plane where we are now, but that would be basically that. I think if we do another like that, is it like even further? And basically a plane? I don't know. I would need to look up the nicer settings for this, but yeah, I mean this, and then it goes like super slowly up, which is not really what I want, I think. But yeah, this basically goes on forever now. So I think it's not really what I would want for now. I think that is better to test the lighting and everything, but I think we now need the lighting for it to work nicely and look nice. So yeah, I guess it's still not good enough. Yeah, okay. Why is that? Okay. That's weird artifact. What is that? Why would that be the case? Is it the height displacement or what? Let's get rid of the height displacement. Just to be sure that it's not that. Or is it really that we miss the terrain? And no, maybe it's really that we miss the terrain. I will try something which is like a little bit stupid, but no, that's really missing it. It's very bizarre. I think I want to do a... I think I want to do a sample there in RenderDoc because I don't quite understand. Why that would be the case. Because now I'm curious, what is going on there? Because we're not even hitting like the performance or something like that, it just doesn't hit anything. Okay. Is that the loop? I think it is. height scale, I'm not interested in that. More interested in this here. Epsilon is 0. And where are we? $340. That's fine. So distance is probably 0 exactly, then we go 340. And we are 351 away. Why? I think we are overshooting. I think we are overshooting and then missing the terrain. I'm wondering if it would be smarter for now. Do something like that, that might kill the performance. But I'm just curious if that will fix it. Not really. Why would it be 350 and then 351? It's probably because we are on the position or something like that. That's interesting. I guess for now I will do the lighting, but yeah, that's definitely something we should investigate. Because I think, well, I mean, maybe that gets fixed anyways when we do the correct sampler thing. because this sample loop is anyways a little bit sus to begin with. But yeah, we're 350 away. Oh, but the first one, that's where we probably go in here. Right, do we not? Run backwards to cursor. Exactly, so the distance is 0. And then we probably go in there. And from that onwards, the scale distance. Shouldn't that have scaled the scale distance down? Ah, stupid. Why is the scale distance 1? Height scale 0. Ah, wait, okay, yeah, that's fine, I guess. But then we're 340 something off. I'm wondering if it's really not just better. Let's try it out. That might fix it, but it's really not ideal. Yeah, okay, that fixed it. Not ideal, not ideal. Or maybe we do that for the long term. That the distance we return from the noise function is not nice, I guess. And then we overshoot and miss. Wondering what we can do there. Anyways, let's try to add lighting. For that, that. We need a couple more buffers here. Or we bind the buffers. That would be the other option. Sorry. Binding or not binding is the question. Because that's anyway something I'm not sure about how I would want to tackle that, to be honest. I mean, the texture stuff, it will probably be one array. And I'm wondering if it's not better if we have like a well, one buffer here. Like lighting environment or something like that. And that would be basically a reference here. Where we basically move this in there. And the buffers. So basically lighting.h. I mean, I guess we could do it here, right? So basically that plus we do well, do we do that? I mean, I get. How would that work? Yeah, maybe we do a light, like a struct for the lighting environment, or maybe not. I don't know. Oh, we have a light environment here. And then we have that here. That could work. But then again, does that make any sense? Maybe not. Maybe it makes more sense to have it like that. Have like the lights here. And then what else do I need for the static mesh? Rend that should have it, or is it the default material that has it? The default material has it. I need the light cluster blasting. And then all three, I guess. PBR lighting, what do we need? The light grid. We need the light grid, okay. Just the light grid? Well, and the spotlights and everything, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's the scene lights, that makes sense. Okay. So the thing would be... Okay, yeah. So that will be that. And we have this. Now we have the light grid, I guess. Something like that. Something like that, and that is its own buffer basically. I mean, yeah. Alright. Oh. Whatever, I don't know why it doesn't like that, but fine. Now we could get rid of those. I would then do something like that. But yeah, I'm not sure if I like this yet. I would need to. Maybe I will look that up. Because I'm not sure, maybe I would want to bind them as SSBOs sometimes, and maybe I would want to have them sometimes as read-only. And then the question is, do I need to define them 2 times or not? Like something like light read only or something like that. And then I have the same light grid as not read only. Is that a thing? Do I have to do it like that? And then bind it, like, I mean, yeah, I bind it to the same buffer, but like once it's read only, when it's not. Would that be the thing? And then the light environment, the same thing? Although the light environment would probably always be read only. But I think I will move those to their own buffer. Something like that, and then I would have something like that, and then this is gone, and we do directional lights. And spotlights. Something like that, I think, would kind of work. And we set this up once, right? I mean, this is set up once. Maybe we need to update it from time to time, but usually I think that would be like once. That's basically the buffer device addresses. And that would basically mean we can do that and then have the light environment always in there where we need it. Like the push constants, and that's it. That could work. That could work. I'm wondering about the buffer reference line and all that stuff, and maybe we can squeeze that a little bit more. Because I think, let me quickly terrain, volume, word, chunk of, yeah, I guess we can do scalar, like outline, yeah. Numbers to plus. That was like save us some bytes. The thing is, I don't think I need the padding then in this case, but I'm not sure. I think I can get rid of those paddings then, but we will do that in due time. For now, let's leave it, just to be sure that still everything works. Yeah. That could actually work. I think if I build that now, it might fail because we don't exactly. Because the light stuff is not fixed. Questions, where are those shaders? Where are the shaders? Is it in compute? Yeah. Okay. So I guess we need that, and then here that imports light data. This doesn't import light data, right? Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. So that one still works, and then this one is probably the one that inputs stuff into the SSBO, right? No, it's not. Ah, here, SBO light grid needs the light grid, and it needs probably, yeah, it needs the point lights and spotlights and everything. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. What did I hard code light data max lights to 64. I think that's 64 per cell. Well, actually no, I think it's 64 currently in total, which is a little bit. It's not a lot. But we can increase or lower that now a little bit more freely when we have the correct setup with that new buffer device address thing. But yeah, basically would boil down to giving ear, cup, or is that read or write? No, that's read, right? I think we just to write into them. Actually, we want to only read from the positions and lighting data, and then the grid, the SSPO light grid, we want to read. We want to write actually into it. So I'm wondering, either we do I guess we do the directional and point light like that. Directional lights. Or the directional light. I think we don't even do, right? Yeah. Point lights. And then light grid. Something like that. That would be new constants. White lights. Guess I will funding now. It would be that. Point lights. Light. Blah blah blah. Shared clusters. Okay, we don't really do the patching, I think, currently. Whatever. Or do we do the patch? Oh no, we do the patch. Well, I think then the spotlight should have the same thing, but whatever. Oh, we have this. Okay. Something like that. That would be point lights, lights count. Value constants. And then here, new constants, point lights. Spotlights, lights. And then we still have that, which is fine for now. Let's leave that. This would be the grid. My, thank you. View constants, point lights. Is it light count? Light data? Okay, it's light count. Sadness. Okay. All of that is fine. I said only point lights, and I only do point light in the... Ah, yeah, okay. Cool. That's not nice, but what can you do? It is what it is. And then we go to create. Deadlight constants. It's not in the create, it's this one, right? Okay, we have one per frame. So probably we need kind of the same thing, but that's fine. That's creating the buffer. That's copying the buffer data, okay, yeah. I guess that lower light stuff. Yeah, okay, yeah. Makes sense. Well, there will be some rewrite, but I think it's for the better. And then we have here the burial stuff. Which I think we probably can fix as well while we're at it. Because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do it like that. Okay. Yeah, we think. So the light data lives here, that's fine, I think. It's the global index count. The lighting is really long time ago, so I'm a little bit... Max lights per file, it max lights per cluster, and that's 100, okay. That is fine, I think. 100 is more than enough for one cluster. If we would ever exceed that, we probably have a problem anyways. Think... Yeah, exactly here, this one. Hello. Good evening. I think this one we want to change to device address. Hello. I can show you what is working. Well, can I show you what is working? No, because I bricked all my shaders. Well, I could stash them, I guess, and then I could show you what I did. Alright, just revert the lighting one for now. Well, I guess you have to wait until I have everything up and running again, which can be hours. Probably not even today, because I'm not sure how long I keep streaming. Just have to rewind to see that we have displacement mapping on the terrain. Restructuring the lighting shader and lighting code to work with buffer device addresses, so that I then can add those buffer device addresses to the terrain shader to sample the light, to add lighting to terrain. Like directional point light and spotlight. So we have like a little bit more features on the terrain. But yeah, I have noise and displacement mapping on the terrain. Actually, I can probably go back in the VOD, right, on YouTube, and then I can show you. So where did I do that? Oh, so where this is the old thing. Can I please not shitty quality? Where do we have it? Oh yeah, here I show the displacement mapping. So once we go here and look up, well, you see it here already a little bit that it's displaced, but here you see it quite obvious that like the terrain has bumps. So we did that. And it's like real 3D displaced. Yeah, here you can see it a little bit. And then what I did is adding... How long did I... Oh, okay, I'm already quite long on the rain or what? On the light. Is it here? I think here somewhere yeah, I have the noise function here. And then I think I fixed it somewhat. Yeah, I think here I fixed it. Now we have like, yeah, terrain noise with hills and stuff like that. So that's where we are now, but yeah, as you can see, it's really hard to see anything without proper lighting because everything still looks flat, even though there are hills there, but it's hard to see. So we have that. So now I'm adding light, so that we see. What is displayed? Well, it's probably height displacement. Bump map is a little bit old school, I would say. It's more like, yeah. I mean, it's very similar to a bump map, yeah, I guess. It's very similar. It's basically sampling the height map. I mean, I can show it, but only around the camera currently. Well, somewhat around the camera. Render terrain. Well, I think I killed it for now, or did I re-add it again? Oh yeah, I killed it, so this would be the height, like we do it from 0 of the camera distance to 512 range of the camera distance. In that range we do the displacement. And yeah, then we basically take our sampling from the terrain height. In C++, how can I check for duplicates? In an array or what? I guess, or in a collection. Maybe there is an, I mean, in the end it's looping, but maybe there is a std function for it already? I don't know. Did you try to Google? Maybe there's a std algorithm function for that already. So see, std unique, but I don't know what that does. It's probably easier to find. But probably it gives you a new collection. Okay, that removes actually everything except for like one element each. So it gives you a new one. But I mean, in the end it does a loop anyways, right? I mean, it doesn't get around that. But yeah, std unique would be if you want to remove duplicate. And then I guess adjacent maybe finds elements that are the same. No, I guess you would have to write your own loop. I mean, in the end, it's nothing else than that anyways. Yes, but the problem for me is loop will do all even if it's found. Yeah, I mean, if you want to early out, if it as soon as you found a duplicate, then I would say break, yeah. if that is if you're satisfied with just one duplicated, like duplicate removed, but what if there is like 2 duplicates in there? Do you not care about that? But I mean, yeah, not sure. Maybe that's not a, maybe, I mean, you probably know what your collection will be like, so you might have thought about that. Update light clusters. So that one I think I adjusted, right? Yeah. And I give it this as create light cluster task or update light cluster task. And this one is the thing we need to change a little bit. Because we no longer want to bind them. Want to do it here, basically move them in. So that would be a UN64T light grid address. Point lights and spotlights. And then this would be M. Light grid SSPO add context dot frame context frame index like that. Why is there no code completion? Hey, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Buffer handle and get GPU address. Okay. Not sure why it doesn't complete. Oh, that's why. Now we do light storage buffers. Why we need new ones actually? Wait, we need, yeah, this one. We need 3 of those. That would be directional lights SSPO point lights SSPO spotlights SSPO. Do you care about optimization? It depends. I mean, there's things that I think are not premature optimizations if it doesn't really cost you anything to do it right in the first place, right? What would be an example like reserving STD vector if you already know the amount of elements in there and stuff like that beforehand, or have a good guess of the elements in there. It's not premature optimization to do that. Earlying out in a loop, if you know that you did what you needed to do, in my opinion, is as well not premature optimization. Does it make any big difference? Probably not, but it's still nice to do. But if your problem gets like way more complicated to implement just for like a minor gain, I would say do not do it. I do the easy optimizations that basically are common sense, but otherwise before measuring and before knowing that it's a problem, I tend to not do it. And that's basically the same thing with the terrain currently. I probably know that it's not gonna scale too well currently in the current implementation, but so far it's good enough that I can keep it, and then we can iterate on it once it becomes a problem, and it will become a problem, pretty sure. But the amount of time I would need to invest into it is currently not worth it for me. If that makes sense. There's always a cost benefit thing, right? And I don't know. It's really... I'm not a big fan of premature optimizations, so that's the thing. But some people claim it's premature optimization when it's clearly not, so always has to, like, you have to find a balance. I mean, I do small games that run on 120 FPS. I mean, again, I'm not even sure if you are not like a AAA game if you have to care for running more than 60 FPS, to be honest. And then not even most of the AAA games run on the 60 FPS. And yeah, what WhatsApp said, I would try, like, your game comes first, right? And as long as you, I would say, if it runs at 40 FPS and you can progress the game, like development wise, that's fine. And then once you get close to shipping, I would bother about performance. But if you spend all your time in like trying to squeeze out every last frame but the game never finishes, it's not really worth it either, right? So usually as well, like with big projects, like the performance comes like in the last couple of months of the project. Before that, performance is not really a thing unless it's like unusable and unplayable. But most of the AAA projects I worked on, they had like 30, 40 FPS up until 2-3 months, well, half a year before the launch. I mean, 20 FPS is probably a little bit low already. It works, but it's a bit painful, I would say. And usually, like, once it went into like the below 30 FPS, the performance was a thing already before like the 5 months to release. But everything above 30 FPS was like, hey, performance is decent. But yeah, I mean, you cannot ship a game with 30 FPS usually. That's not a thing except for consoles, like the low-end consoles. I think directional lines we only support, I would say, less than 64. I don't think we want to ever support more than... Do we even want to support more than 8? Probably not. Point lights is fine. No, the spotlights we do as well. And that's the benefit of splitting that now. Spotlights. think I do that. Perfect. Yeah, I was having a similar discussion recently on WhatsApp with a couple of colleagues. I'm not too sure. I think the industry is probably pivoting to Unreal, like in the AAA industry for sure. Unity is not really a thing, I would say. There are a couple of projects that are done in Unity, don't get me wrong, but overall I think Unreal is probably the way that the engine, the industry will go. But there are still a couple of studios that do their own in-house engines, and I think that will remain. But it's a matter of manpower. So, for example, the company that I work for now, I think there are 300-400 people. And for that, I'm like on the edge. They have their own in-house engine, but I'm on the edge. Is it really worth it or not? Because I think for an in-house engine to really be competitive and not a waste of money and waste of time, you need a big studio. And I think currently that's only Ubisoft, EA, and probably some Sony studios or something like that. But otherwise, I don't think. I think below 500, 600 people, I don't know if it's worth it to do your own engine. Like if you want to do a AAA project. With Unreal, you get a lot of stuff for free that you don't need to bother anymore. Like most of the platforms work out of the box. You don't need to invest if there is a new platform coming out because Unreal does it for you, like Epic does it for you. So, I don't know. There's a lot of benefits. I'm not a big Unreal fan, but I see the benefits of it. And I've told a friend of mine, if I would ever have my own studio and I can pay like 2-3 people and I want to do like a real project and I have to pay them and everything, probably I wouldn't even use my own engine. I would probably go Unreal because it's just financially too unstable to do your own engine. I think if you have like responsibilities for others. Because you waste a lot of time developing an engine with no return of investment. Yeah, for sure. Yes, I agree with that. But I mean, that's the whole thing in the whole industry, right? With all the AI, I'm curious how the future is for game development, and I think it will consolidate into a couple. So when I started in the industry, there was almost no studio in Austria that did games, and even in Europe there were a handful of studios in Europe that did like AAA. And then like 10 years later, so 2015, 16 and stuff like that, a lot of AAA studios came to Europe. Like Ubisoft had a lot of studios then already, EA had a lot of studios. So the options were really, you had a lot of options to work in games, and especially AAA. And I think it will go down again, and it will have like less. You will have less opportunity. So I think it will be again probably indie and like a handful of like cities or countries that have like a AAA studio, and it will be really hard to get into like AAA, I think, because it grew too much and it couldn't sustain itself, I think. Now, unfortunately, we have to pay the price with a lot of layoffs. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I don't know. I think people will just switch to UE6 because of the new features. And I'm not sure if they were really... They didn't really say if they removed Blueprint, right? They deprecated, but that doesn't mean that it's removed. Just means that they don't develop it anymore, but I do think Unreal 6 will still have some sort of blueprints, just that it's not the default anymore. Alright, so then this is directional lights SSPO, directional lights. I mean, as Raven said, I think, I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's already, but indie games, I think, are already quite successful. But I think what definitely has to change in the AAA industry is the amount of money they spend for a game and the time. It has to go down again. I think the budgets are just insane for what you get out. Like the budget for like Avatar, like Frontiers of Pandora, it was insane, and then you barely sell enough. I don't even know if it sold enough to make it up again. And it's just everything has to look like super realistic and super awesome graphically, but the gameplay sucks, and the graphics is the thing, and the world building is the thing that costs the most, because if you build like an open world game, it takes forever, because I mean, it's a big world, and then everything has to look kinda nice for it to be considered AAA, right? So there's a lot of money invested into just that. And I don't think it's worth it. Players don't really care too much, I would say, about that. I mean, of course, it's nice to have like nice looking games, but I mean, the gameplay is the most important thing. Otherwise, you could not watch a movie. You just want it to look nice. Yeah, and yeah, I think AAA sacrificed that. Yes, I agree with that, and I think that has to change again, because that is where the money like goes down the drain, basically. Just investing a lot into like open world and having it look beautiful, and of course that's good and awesome, but it's not the main thing. Alright, and then SPO Lite. Do I use that somewhere? Well, I guess we'll find out. Yeah. SPO Lights. I'm not sure if I used it anywhere like that. Probably the best. Well, I can't even look it up. Fuck. Should have maybe not killed it completely. Damn it. Let's just put in the directional light here for now. I don't know. But so that something is there. And then that is... Ah, okay. Well, okay, I mean, I guess we would want that to be there, but whatever, let's... I mean, I guess I can start the engine, right? To look something up. I think I should be able, yeah, to get here, exactly, that's where I wanted to get, where not like that. I wanted to have it full screen. And then if I go to render graph and open the default render graph, so how does that look, the lighting pass? So we do that and then... Okay, that's just for this. So we don't really care. Okay, you do you. Alright, how would I want to do that? Maybe I need to change the render graph to something else, I'm not sure. I'm thinking here, what would make the most sense? Because technically I don't need those out parameters here. But what I do need is the ordering. So I'm wondering if it would make more sense. Oh, that ordering doesn't really make a whole lot of sense anyways, I think. Why is that what the hell, Twitch? Where is it? Why is that a sex-based term? How much RAM you got? What the hell? Hear the message for sex-based term. Sure, I will allow it. I have 32 gigs, I think, if I remember correctly. And I've luckily bought them before everything went crazy. Yeah, I think I will... Oh, that is a shit thing to do right now, so I think we might not do it exactly now, but the render graph refactor is anyway something I wanted to do. So probably we will do that sooner than later, after 06 probably though. And I think what we will do is change those to execute pins. Okay, I have DDR5, yeah. But I bought them exactly like half a year before everything went downhill. So the question is, how could I solve that for now in like a hacky way at least? There is not a lot of people doing the render graph anyways, not to mention that not a lot of people are using the engine because it's really not easy to use yet. Guess we just keep like one pin here so that we can ensure this runs beforehand. And then I think we would need to redo that a little bit. I'm not sure. Especially this could run in the async compute. That's another thing. So maybe we should look at that as well with the new render graph to make that a little bit more easy to understand. A couple of things, yeah. And then probably I want to output the light environment here. So this is our light environment, and then we give it a light environment here. And that pin does nothing but set the push constants up. I think that could work. That might actually work. But I think I will take a break for now though. We got a couple of things done. We got the terrain height map stuff done and the, well, that I did off stream a little bit, but a little bit more now today. Plus the volumetric noise. Still need to figure out. Oh no, I got the normals working, right? Yeah. At least for the 2D version of the noise. Or yeah, for the 2D version I got the noise working. The normal, I mean. 3D noise, I would need to look up how to do it properly. And we got the terrain shader, the volume shader at least somewhat working. It's not perfect, there's a couple of issues here and there, but overall that's fine. Can live with that for the first version of the terrain again, I think. Okay, yeah, I will do that tomorrow. We will stream tomorrow, most likely. But I can't guarantee it yet. It depends a little bit. My fiance has her first work day, so maybe we spend the time afterwards chilling a little bit. For like terrain, generally, like the base terrain, basically. We might want to support 3D noise functions for that. I'm not sure. Then you could have like islands in the sky. Would need to look at that, I don't know yet. I mean, the 3D noise might be a little bit too... Yeah, it's a very, very specific use case. It really depends on what you would want to do. Yeah. But I mean, with the current version, let's clear that. So here, Is it in data, right? Yeah. So that's how the 3D noise currently looks like. And basically you would build your base terrain in a node graph. And then you can small edit in the scene editor. But basically your base world would be built with this. Because that is very efficient. Because real-time editing costs a little bit, or a small part. Micro detail edits would cost a little bit more in terms of performance. I hope I can get them not too costly, but let's see. But usually your base terrain in most of the games can be done with that. Like usually in other games you either have a height map, which is basically this. Another thing would be if it's not a height map, it can be like basically noise functions combined together to generate you a nice looking terrain. Similar to, I can show you what is done with a noise function, and then we can see into the future. I always forget his name. This guy. And then articles, terrain, yeah, ray margin terrains, I think, yeah, and this is always what I basically show as a reference. This is all noise function with triplanar texturing. And that's where I want to go. Basically, the base terrain would be this, and then you can do edits in there. Yeah, so that's where I want to go. Actually, we could look up how he did it and then copy those values. Is that the shader toy? Probably. Because we could copy those noise functions, like the values. I think he uses an FBM noise probably or something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure what noise it. Yeah, okay, an FBM. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. I guess we could once copy that into my terrain shader and see what comes out. Oh yeah, actually that reminds me. Probably after 06, I wanted to look at... I will do that in like 1 or 2 streams. I want to look at slang, and maybe we add slang to Onyx instead of GLSR. I think by now it's kind of the new semi-standard for Vulkan, because even the official tutorial is already in slang. So maybe we do that. It's a little bit weirdly noisy here. That looks broken. It didn't look that broken in the past. I don't know what happened here. But that's the trees. I'm not doing the trees anyways. I'm more interested in the terrain shape. So basically the back and stuff like that. I don't know why it's this noisy. Very weird. Anyways, I am done for today. We will be back tomorrow, probably. Worst case, Wednesday as usual. I really try to stick again to the streaming schedule, but sometimes it's hard. That's why I want to spend time with my fiance, especially during summer. No. Thank you. Have a nice rest of your Sunday as well, and have a great start into the week. And yeah, let's do the lighting stuff, and then the terrain probably will look already quite good when we have like lighting on it. Thank you, you too, and hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.